Well, alrighty, we're live. Good morning. Welcome to our morning market update for Friday, August the 16th. It's also a friend's birthday today, Jeff. Yeah, so happy birthday to Jeff, who I know is 100% not listening to this. All right, so let's get started for today. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Actually, we're not. Today's going to be a slower day. First and foremost, let's kick it off by saying this. It is options expiry today. All right, for the month of August. The August monthly option series will expire. Say goodbye. It will never again be listed for 2019 of August. So we're losing a piece of trading history, just like we do every month. All right, so options for the S&P 500 that are monthly, options for stocks as well that are monthly are expiring. This isn't as big an event as it used to be because there weren't weekly option series. Now there's weeklies. So that means there's weekly option dated plays that you could take. And because there's weekly opportunities, people don't have to do the monthly one anymore. It used to be that, hey, I want to sell 2 weeks worth of time. Well, too bad. I got the choice of doing 4 weeks or 1 week, right? There's nothing in between. Now you can. And so that's kind of negated a little bit of the volatility that comes around options expiry, but there will still be options volatility, and that could translate to some whipsaws and head fakes here as the market heads into the close on this trading day. All right, I have no intention to be around for the close on a Friday. All right, I've never, not never, but very rarely have traded past 11 a.m. on a Friday. You know, after noon on a Friday, I don't even know what the market's trading at. What does it matter? All right. Get done early today. Get going and enjoy your weekend. That's the best part about being traders. At 11 a.m. on a Friday, we're done for the weekend. All right. Enjoy that. Take advantage and opportunity of that. North Korea last night fired 2 projectiles into the Eastern Sea, extending its most prolific run of tests since President Trump took office. All right. There were short-range ballistic missiles. There were not intercontinental missiles. They traveled 140 miles. South Korea said they gathered this report. They sensed the activity and released it. It appeared consistent with Kim Jong-un's push to demonstrate his ability to hit all of South Korea and parts of Japan with hard-to-intercept rockets. All right, so Rocket Man, as Donald Trump called him, is back on the map, testing weapons. It's not a good sign, right? But I don't think the market's going to care too much at this point just yet. They're not intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, and North Korea. Everyone knows North Korea can hit South Korea. That's not news. Okay, it's when it starts being intercontinental and they're trying to target the United States that it becomes a little bit more, oh my gosh, what's going on type of ordeal. But you have to know about that. That's news. And Fed Watch. So we have a really big week ahead of us next week. This week's wrapping up. We didn't really have too much economic news, but we did have volatility, didn't we? Oh boy, we had volatility this week. It's back to Fed Watch for next week. The question here is, will the Federal Reserve start to cut interest rates, or what will be their policy adjustment or response to an inverted 10-year yield curve? That yield curve is no longer inverted, but typically whenever a yield curve inverts, recession starts about 5 months to 12 months after. It doesn't mean right now that there's doom and gloom and get short and the whole world's going to end, but it does mean that in the long term, mid to long term, there is a recession watch on the way. All right. Could we hit new all-time highs? I think we still could make one more run to an all-time high and then just dump aggressively. But it's looking less and less likely as this economic data comes in. All right. So St. Louis Fed President James Bullard said that the central bank would call an emergency gathering ahead of the September 17th, 18th meeting. Jerome Powell may shed some light on how he sees things at Jackson Hole next week. The Jackson Hole Symposium or Summit is happening next week. That's when all central bankers across the world gather in one building to talk about central banking and steer monetary policy. That's going to be a big one. And then Jerome Powell makes a speech after that at the end of the Jackson Hole Symposium. And that's something that every trader investor watches. All right. Plus, next week on Wednesday, we get minutes of the July policy meeting. Looking at some insight on how the meeting went and the meeting minutes of the day they decided to hike rates, or to cut rates rather. Cut rates. Those meeting minutes are going to be available next Wednesday. They could offer some insight into the discussion behind the curtain. Okay. Today's markets, Japan's down 0.2%. Hong Kong's up 1 percentage point. China's up 0.3. India up 1/10. In Europe, at midday, London up 0.6%. Paris up 1. Frankfurt up 1% as well. Gains in Europe. Futures in the U.S. Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq all up 1 percentage point. Nasdaq up 1.4. The clear leader of the day so far. At 8:29, White House trade advisor Navarro said the U.S. economy is rock solid. Reiterates U.S. China are talking. So there's a little bit of infusion of risk appetite or optimism into the marketplace. Crude oil is up 1.8%. Gold's down almost 1 percentage point. Now trading at 1522. Bitcoin down 1/10, just above 10,000. All right, and the economic numbers this morning, we had housing starts. Let me tell you how they came in. Housing starts were 1.19 million versus 1.256 expected. Lower than expecting housing starts. Building permits, however, are higher, 1.33 million versus 1.7. That's an interesting number because the building permit portion is the one that is the most important. Single family housing starts 1.3 million or 1.3%. Single family permits up 1.8%. The prior numbers revised lower, however. So that's a mixed report, but slightly bullish skew on the housing starts number. 10 a.m. we have quarterly services report. It's an advanced reading. Consumer sentiment as well, top of the hour. And 1 p.m. Baker Hughes rig count, which indicates the amount of rigs operating offshore in the United States. Huge impact on oil markets. There's a lot of volatility around crude at that point. All right, my expectation for this Friday is for markets to open up slightly weaker and then close strong. I see a huge rally coming in to the end of the week. All right, and just a weekend buying spree. And buy the dips today. I think today's opportunity is going to be a dip buying opportunity. And if we start to break below some support structure, where is that? I'll talk about it in the trading room in just a moment. But if we break some support structure, there's one really key structure right now that you could see some downside. All right, but I think into the close, there's going to be the closing ramp. Nice rally into the 4 p.m. cash close on the SPOOs. Watch out for that. All right, that's all we got. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to trade with us, the trading room is open on a daily basis, and you should be part of it because it's awesome. It's the best trading community online. Yesterday, we had a little bit of a harder day trading. Some of the live traders and live capital we had one of the lower performance days, to be perfectly honest with you, but it was tough. And today we're going to recover and make up for it. What else I got? That's it. You guys have a great weekend. Appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you in the trading room. Manage your risk, trade like a trade pro. And we'll see you guys on Monday for another video, another morning market update. Adios. Have a good weekend. All right, trade pros. Let me give you some good levels for the S&P 500. We'll set up some trades for today. Some high probability, low risk opportunities. And in addition to that, I'm going to go through and open up the options chain for you guys and show you where the option expiry plays are. Some key levels that are driven by options volume and open interest. And we're going to get started for the day. And then I'll bring it into Boxy to talk about oil. So we're seeing futures slip slightly. Let's get started. I'll kick it off with S&P.